Hello, my name is Mason White, and today I'm going to be going over my industry case study with you guys. Well, to tell you guys about my dream job, now as far as my dream job is concerned, I am a audio engineer or music producer. I've been doing this for about 12 years now, going on 13. And as far as being a music producer, I'm looking to possibly, you know, either do that or go through like a whole YouTubers program and start doing that stuff because this is my third time here at Full Sail. And what I will say is that I have a certificate in audio arts already. I have one in film and video production. And this is, like I said, this is my third time going here. And for the most part, like I said, if I can't do music production or audio engineering or engineering stuff for different artists and whatnot, then I probably will just be a YouTuber and kind of be a voice for the voiceless, if that makes sense. Um, yeah. Now, we were required to research two different careers. The two that I chose was a mixing, mastering, and recording engineer, which is more along the lines of what I'm going to school for, and a podcast editor or mixer, which is not too different, but they're distinct enough to be able to tell the difference between the two. Okay, so when it comes to the mixing and mastering engineer, what I will say, basically, this is the person who takes the raw edits and whatnot, as far as the audio is concerned, from the artist, and they kind of mix it and make it sound professional or studio quality. Um, the education requirements for this is basically you gotta have some type of degree. That's debatable, because there are multi-million dollar producers and stuff that don't really have the education as far as I'm concerned, but you got to have some type of knowledge of how to use different DAWs and how to mix audio to where it sounds professional. You don't want it to have a muddy mix or anything like that. The required skills, basically, there aren't any really required skills other than critical listening skills, creative ability, and knowledge of being a producer. You don't really have to have any specific skills for this job. With this job in the U.S., it averages about 54,000 a year. Well, no, 55 if we're estimating. Um, in Texas, where I live, it would be closer to the 79,000 range. Um, so it could be. I mean, you could be looking at somewhere between 46,000 and 141,000 a year. You know, which isn't too bad. It's better than what us normal people make. And hourly, this is basically going over how much you can make an hour and whatnot. But that's for the mixing engineer. For the mastering engineer, they make a little more, um, but the range is a little bit more spaced. So on average, in a U.S. average for a mastering engineer will be 72,000. Now that is more than the mixing engineer up here, but when you go down here, when you go to the ranges, you can range between 20,000 to 140,000, which is a bigger range than what's shown up here. And then it goes into how much they can make hourly, which isn't too much of a difference than the mixing engineer. The mixing engineer can make 38 to 150 or $160 an hour, from the research I found. And the mastering engineer can make anywhere between 40 to $100 an hour. So like I said, it's kind of apples and oranges if you're choosing between these two. You know. Now, as far as the video game sound designer, I have an error. I previously told you guys that it was a podcast engineer, so I need to go back and fix that. But this is the second career that I chose. This is pretty much the person who is responsible for all of the audio, voiceovers, background noise, sound effects, and stuff when it comes to video games, which isn't too much different than an engineer, because they just have, I'd assume, more on their plate. The education and training requirements, pretty much, you got to have a bachelor's degree to get into the industry, or anything similar to audio engineering or audio arts, or anything of that nature, and as long as it's relevant to the particular career. Now this job has a lot of required skills, which is basically sound design, audio implementation, audio production, audio recording, audio editing, sound libraries, and coding. Now, as far as being a sound design, audio engineer, I would think that the only one of these that I'm not too much familiar with is coding. That's just me taking a guess at things. And the reason why I chose this is because, like I said, I already have the retainable knowledge for this job. I just would have to learn how to code, I guess, if that makes sense. And if we're going to the salary information here, on average they make about 78,000. Hourly they make about $38 an hour if we're estimating here. And it just goes into how much they make weekly and monthly, Which, like I said, these are both good careers, as far as getting into, because they pay a lot better than not necessarily careers, but they pay a lot better than a regular job would. So, now when we're going now, I'm going to talk about the information I found from an interview. Excuse me. I found from an interview from Mr. Ellis Tucker, and he is a mixing and mastering engineer. Now, I couldn't find any specific projects of his that he has worked on, but there are different genres that he's worked in across the last 10 years, with them being pop, hip hop, alt pop, indie rock, alt R&B, folk, and electronic music. Now, can I see myself doing what they do? I could definitely see myself doing this here. like I say, my whole thing is I would just have to get a little better at, sharpen my skills, I guess, because he does do what I'm looking to do, and like I said, I've been in music or in the music space for about 13 years now, so it's not too much different that he does that I can't learn, I guess, or that I don't know how to do. Like I said, all I have to do is basically get better and more proficient in what I'm at at whatever it is that it takes to do this job, this particular job. With the video game designer interview, I chose a gentleman by the name of Chuck Rossum. And excuse me if I butcher that name, but he's a known sound designer in the video game industry. He's pretty much known for both God of War titles, the scores on those, um, 007, Destiny, Green Lantern, the 2011 game, Medal of Honor, Dante's Inferno, Warhawk, and for Call of Duty. So he's basically worked on a lot of very known games, and he basically works on the background scores and things of that nature for this excuse me, for the video games. Now, me again, I can definitely see myself doing what he does. Like I said, again, it just comes with getting more proficient with your skills. And I would have to like reach out or like search for different sound packs that have sound effects and things of that nature. Unless I'm making my own, you can definitely make your own sounds and stuff. So that's neither here nor there. That's just a choice. Um, do my skills transfer over? The vast majority of them, I would say, do transfer over here. Um, but the thing is, again, I would have to learn how to code. I don't know how to code, therefore, I have to get into coding, and be able to implement the sound into the game, because everybody can make music, but if you don't know how to implement it into the game, then it's kind of pointless. I don't think it's a normal just record the whole thing. I think it's more steps to that. So here are my references for this project. As you can see, I have pretty much a lot of them. And this is basically different articles that I read and went through. Some of these basically explaining how much the careers make, speaking about the careers, and then it goes into the different what is it interviews that I went over. And here's my second page of references and whatnot. And it just goes over the different material that they worked on and stuff. That's all. I'd like to thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in with me today. I know this was kind of long, and you guys had to sit here and listen to me yammer. But if you do like the video, drop a like, comment, subscribe, all of that. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.